So, if you're a Pakistani exporter, does the European Union feel kind of like an impenetrable fortress? You know you have incredible products, but your emails just get met with, well, silence. In this explainer, we are going to crack the code on how you can systematically win new B2B customers in the EU. Sound familiar? You spend all this time crafting the perfect emails, you send out your catalogs, and then nothing. It's a massive frustration, right? And it leads a lot of people to believe the market is just completely closed off. But what if I told you the problem isn't the market at all? It's your method. So let's get one thing straight right off the bat. The EU market is not closed, not by a long shot. European importers are sourcing products from Asia every single day. What they're actually ignoring are those generic, unclear emails. They're looking for suppliers who seem credible, compliant, and just easy to work with, right from that very first hello. Okay, so this brings us to our very first and honestly most crucial section. You have to shift your perspective and learn to think exactly like your European buyer. This is where most exporters go wrong, and believe me, it's the easiest thing to fix. Just look at the difference here. It's huge, right? On the left, it's all about you. We export high-quality towels. You know what? So does everybody else. But on the right, it's all about the buyer's problem. See, EU buyers aren't just buying towels. They're buying peace of mind. They're buying a reduction in risk, fewer customer returns, and guaranteed compliance. That's what they're really paying for. This right here, this is the golden formula. You have to speak their language, and their language is all about mitigating risk. First, you identify their problem, like, say, high return rates. Then you present your solution, your OKTex compliant production process. And finally, you offer proof, your certifications and your track record. Problem, solution, proof. That simple sequence is the key to pretty much all of your communication. Okay, so you've got your messaging down. But guess what? Before a buyer even thinks about opening that carefully crafted email of yours, they're going to do one thing first. They're going to check you out online. This is your digital first impression, and in the B2B world, that means one thing: LinkedIn. You've got to think of your LinkedIn profile as your 24/7 digital trade fair booth. It's not just a CV. When a sourcing manager over in Germany gets your email, their very first move is to pop your name into LinkedIn search. And what they find there literally determines if your email gets a reply or goes straight to the trash. I mean, just look at the contrast. The weak profile on the left, it's basically invisible. It creates doubt. It suggests you're not that professional. But the strong profile on the right, it immediately speaks the buyer's language. It uses that problem-solution formula we just talked about and builds credibility in a single sentence. And your About section, that's where you back up that strong headline with the hard facts. Don't make them guess. Don't make them work for it. Clearly list your products, your certifications, which EU countries you already serve, and the key business stuff like minimum order quantity and lead times. Make it super easy for them to see you as a serious partner. Okay, so your profile is looking sharp, you're speaking the buyer's language. Now what? How do you actually find the right people to talk to? Well, welcome to Section 3, Smart Buyer Hunting. And the key word here is definitely smart, not mass. First things first. Forget about mass messaging. It is a waste of time in Europe. Precision is everything. On LinkedIn, you want to search for specific job titles. These are the people making the decisions. Then, use those filters. Target specific countries and focus on small to medium-sized companies. You know, in that 11 to 500 employee range. They're often way more accessible and open to talking to new suppliers. And that first message you send, it needs to look something like this. It's short, it's respectful, and most importantly, it's relevant. You show you've done your homework, you establish a little credibility by mentioning you have existing clients, and you end with a really low-pressure question. It's the total opposite of that generic, "Dear sir, we are an exporter" email that gets deleted on site every single time. Now, want to take this to the next level? Start using trade data. You can look at EU import stats to see which companies are already importing your type of product from Asia. These aren't cold leads, these are warm leads. They've already got a proven need. Reaching out to them isn't a cold call, it's a super targeted introduction. All right, so you've done it. You've made contact and they're interested. Awesome, but don't celebrate just yet. Now we get to the really crucial middle part, moving from that first little spark of interest to an actual commercial order. Your follow-up emails have to be just as sharp as your first contact. Your subject line is everything. It's your one shot to get them to click, so pack it with value. Mention compliance and that GSP Plus tariff advantage right up front. Then keep the email itself super short, like incredibly brief. Who you are, the problem you solve, and a very clear next step. Just respect their time and they'll respect you. Now, when they finally ask for samples, that's a huge buying signal. You have to shift your mindset here. Samples are not a cost, they are a critical sales tool. EU buyers trust what they can see and touch. But here's the crazy part, and where so many exporters drop the ball, they don't follow up properly after the samples get delivered. That diligent follow-up is absolutely non-negotiable. And this is super important, so I really want you to hear this. You've got to be realistic about the timeline. Winning a new EU customer is a marathon, not a sprint. The first 1 to 3 months, that's just about building trust. The sampling and negotiation can take another 3 to 6 months. That first commercial order might not even land for 6 months to a whole year. Understanding this cycle keeps you from getting discouraged and giving up way too early. Okay, that brings us to our final section. Let's pull all these pieces together and look at the complete winning approach. This quote, this really gets to the heart of it all. The key is professional patience. You need a system. Every week, you do your outreach. Every month, you do your follow-ups. You post consistent content on LinkedIn to show off your expertise. This methodical approach signals that you're a serious, long-term partner, not just a desperate seller chasing an order. So when you boil it all down, the exporters who are really winning in Europe, they're the ones who nail these 5 things. They get inside the buyer's head, they communicate with precision, they focus on trust before they ever talk about price, they use modern tools like LinkedIn and trade data, and they strategically use Pakistan's GSP Plus advantage. It's not just one thing, it's the whole package. And that's really is the big takeaway here. Pakistan has an open door to Europe through GSP Plus and incredible skilled manufacturing. The challenge isn't the market, it's the method. It just requires a disciplined, a professional, and a modern approach. The only real question left is, are you ready to adopt it?